2013, I don't know what year it is, meeting of the Executive Finance Committee. Please rise. Council Byrne, would you say the blessing prayer?
The most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you again for the opportunity to be here and serve the Cherokee Nation. Just thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed upon our tribe and our leadership, and just be with the families, dear Lord, as we close down the weekend and just honor your name. Guide and lead us, and let us make the appropriate decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Jody Fishing-Hawk. Here. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Bill England.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird. Julia Coates.
Yeah, she got it.
Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Present. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Anna Glory Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
Here.
David Walker-Stick. Kara Calvin Watts. We do have a call.
All right. We entertain a motion to approve the two sets of minutes in toto.
Motion.
Mr. Baker, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Madam Speaker, do you have a motion?
Yes, I'd make a motion to dispense with the verbal reports this month and stand on the written reports. And anyone having questions of any of the reports can submit those questions in writing to the necessary
And we
department.
expect those answers by Monday, I would think, if possible.
Yes, and then we'll just move right into consent.
Move right into consent. Very good. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Council Hargis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Very good. Appreciate the patience of the folks that came to report. It was just the length of our last agenda just required us to do this. Thank you. All right, moving to consent items. First of all, we have tarot certifications. That is in your book, and you're taking motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion to approve. Second by Councilor Snell.
Anything you're saying, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Sorry.
we have a motion and a second to approve tarot certifications, and we now go into discussion. Any discussion on tarot certifications? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Cemetery restoration assistance applications. That's in our book. Entertain motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Madam Speaker, Councilor Thornton. Any discussion? Additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now move to community assistance. It is also in our book, Madam Speaker.
Yes, we three would like to add $1,000 to be dispersed to each school for organizational support split between three of us.
So you have a motion to approve with that change?
With that amendment, and I
Councilor
make
Byrd.
that motion.
Councilor Byrd seconds it with split three ways. What was Jody Reese, did you get those announced?
Riggs School.
And Councilor Garvin.
I'm not sure, I don't have the right list of them.
I know Gail doesn't have the update. She was in the process of doing some updates from today. So
Let's go ahead and take the items that we want to add, and then we'll make sure we have a list in front of us before we take a vote. Mr. Garvin.
Organization.
Should have a forum, Hilldale, Discovery, Fort Gibson, and Warner. Same amount on all sides.
how much? Do you know how much it was?
She has.
Motion that we do $1,000 split three ways, Cherokee County to Lowry School Organization Support.
Okay, Lowry Schools, $1,000 split three ways among the Cherokee County councilors.
That's in addition to the Briggs.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be their money for this year.
So that amount was 1,500.
Split.
1,500 for each school.
All for each. Okay, 1,500 for each.
Jody, add 1,200 for the Blue Jacket Little League, and you accept that, Madam Speaker?
Yes.
Okay. much for, anything further? All right, and if we're still waiting on the list, we're still waiting on the list, let's maybe give Gail a second. Let's see if Gail needs, how much time Gail needs, otherwise we'll move on to.
I have copies now.
She made copies.
500 church split
Organizational support.
500 to Cedar Tree Church for organizational support split equally among the Cherokee County Councilors.
What was that name again?
Cedar Tree
Okay.
Church.
I need to add Rocky Mountain Community Building for 500.
Madam Speaker, would you withdraw?
Yeah.
Bring it back when we get the report in. We'll move on to
Yes.
law enforcement. We'll bring it back just as we just described.
Yes, that would be, and we'll add these
And
two
then
are.
we can add anything else that we need before we take action on it. All right, we'll now move on to law enforcement. Yes,
I need to add something.
to community assistance.
Mhm.
But we're going to come back to it.
Okay.
So we're waiting for
Okay.
Gail. All right, law enforcement request. Any additions, Mr. Anglin?
Yes, I need to have, the Sky Tico wants to Sperry because the police department's provided it with, I thought I had emailed that to
She's trying to update all the lists now from, since this report was done, so.
I just want to make sure that you see here.
Any further on law enforcement? Mr. Garvin?
I'd like to add Warner, Cherokee, and Fort Gibson, 4,306 each.
Anything further on law enforcement?
Jody, I've got several coming in on law enforcement, but these law enforcements are split between me and Janelle. They don't all fall under one.
Right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's on the new list.
Oh, okay. All I saw was old.
She's handing out now, so.
Okay. Thank you. All I saw was the county sheriff's for 34 something on mine, but we're splitting it.
Okay.
Anything further on law enforcement? All right, you're done. We have a motion to approve law enforcement.
Second.
Councilor Hargis made that motion. Who seconds it? Madam Speaker, second.
Yes, I second.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, we'll move back now to community assistance. Mr. Reese, you got all those additions earlier. Gail's passing out the updated list that might not reflect some of those additions, but we've got them down. All right, Madam Speaker, you want to make your motion to approve?
Yes, I'd go ahead with those amendments
Okay.
and make a motion to approve the community assistance money. Mr. Thornton, did you get your added?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
All right, second? Second, all right. Any further additions? All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. All right.
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the cemeteries because there were several added to this list.
Very good.
Second.
And is it reflected on our new list?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. Everybody got that? Anyone have a list? Any further changes?
We need to make a vote on the motion. to
Oh,
reconsider.
that's true. Okay, vote on motion to reconsider. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, very good. So we have a
Make a
list.
motion that we approve the cemetery preservation assistance with the addition of the ones that was just passed out.
Very good. Second.
Could I
Madam
make
Speaker.
just one small amendment that we add Barber Cemetery and Miller Cemetery to this for this month. And Cedar Tree. Yeah. Those three.
I'll accept that.
Mr. Amos.
Chairman, just an opinion here. We had a caretaker of the Charlie Cemetery over there when lost his caretaker passed away. And he was behind on all this last year's receipts, and so we cut him off. Well, he just passed away. Now we're going to find a new caretaker. Can we give that deal and whoever takes on this project, we can re-educate them maybe?
I don't have an objection to that. You know the community better than anybody, so if that's
I
something.
mean, I can get you some pictures of the cemetery where he's taking care of this.
Okay. And Gail, as I've learned, the rules on community assistance are kind of they're not in one form. There's kind of different rules over the years. So, Counselor, if you're comfortable with that, I don't think anyone else objects.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
I'm checking with a couple of people now.
Very good. Okay. All right. Any further additions to the cemetery? Okay. We have a motion to, are we waiting on anything? Okay. All right. Okay. All those in favor of approving cemeteries as amended, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. It's throwing us off that we're moving this quickly. It's throwing me off. Okay. We now move to roads. Mr. Garvin?
I'd like to add one, Scully County, Texas Road, 105,709.
As this went through the process with Michael Lincoln and everything,
Talked to him this morning. I just said he'd have it over here.
That was,
When we first started.
Shelley, did you get that, Laura? Yes. We're adding one to roads. So Mr. Garvin's made a motion to approve the roads with that addition. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
I'll second.
Madam Speaker, is a second. Any further additions to the roads? Okay. All those in favor of approving the roads, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right. We now move on to old business. Item number 1, Councilman Lay. Table that for a month. Got a motion table. Got a second. We have a second by Councilor Snell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Table for a month. Item number 2 on old business, carryover funds. Mr. Lay, go ahead.
I think we're kind of going through that today. Let's table it.
Okay.
And I believe it's over, but let's table it.
Okay, very good. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. It's tabled for a month. Item number 3, Councilor Fishing Hawk, discussion item. She is not in the room.
Motion to table to the end of the meeting.
Motion tabled in the meeting. Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, very good. Now to new business. Item number 1, Madam Speaker, I wonder if you would take that.
Yes, this is an act amending Legislative Act 3712, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2013, Mod 7, and declaring an emergency. Judy, is this the carryover part?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. And with that, I would also ask that act and mod be amended to include the following items. $150,000 to real estate services because they're short on their budget, and we'll need this to the end of the year to complete some work they're doing on appraisals, probates, and surveys. A $7,500 addition to charitable contributions to go to the Pocahontas Club. $67,000 to fund our travel carryover that the tribal council had left from last year that will replenish your community assistance funds per our policy. $20,000 addition to the tri-council needs. We host the tri-council this year, and because we have 3 tribes involved now, the set-aside money is not going to fulfill those needs, so that'd be an additional $20,000. Marcia Lamb's group, the program that Daryl Legg takes care of, for an additional, well, we'll just, Marcia Lamb's.
She's in Diane County.
Oh, I'm sorry, Diane Kelly's group. Is Diane here? I'm right here. Is that called a career, or is that called a vocational training? Okay, 200,000 addition to vocational training, and a $300,000 addition for a shortfall in Indian child welfare.
Second, with the friendly amendment.
What's your friendly, Council?
I'd like to restore the Cherokee Phoenix free subscriptions at no cost if people reapply with their current address for $200,000.
I will not accept that friendly amendment.
Do you withdraw your second, or you continue second it? She doesn't accept, so.
I'll withdraw my second. And
We have
I'll
a
make
second.
motion.
Council Fishing seconds the motion is given by Madam Speaker. Furniture moving.
We're trying to lose weight over here.
All right. One second, Councilor. Mr. Reese, you have all those items that Madam Speaker read off. Very good. All right, so we're now into discussion. Mr. Baker?
Yes. The Cherokee Heritage Center president and vice president are here, and they were going to ask for some additional money, and they have the documentation for what they would like.
You have the floor, Councilor, and we can spend, if they can, in a very summary fashion, give us this information. If you could come forward to the podium, introduce yourself, and then...
One correction on my amendment to
Yes.
that mod was, I'm sorry, I misspoke, it was $250,000 to Daryl Lee's,
All right, and
Diane Kelly's group.
Councilor Fishing agrees with that.
Point of information, can we get a copy of all this huge list before
Uh,
we vote?
The
Yeah.
huge list is in your book, except for the mods that are amendments that I just...
Before we-
That's what I'm asking.
And councilors, before we vote, we'll recap all of these items, and then we'll take a vote. And Councilor Baker has the floor, and he's yielding for just a brief summary from a representative of the Heritage Center. If you would, sir, introduce yourself. I know many of us have met you.
My name's Michael Kelly. I woke up one morning a couple of months ago and discovered I was president of the Cherokee Heritage Center. And we, naturally, like all 501c3 nonprofit organizations, have funding issues. And we are in the process of focusing on raising money by the Board of Trustees. But the Heritage Center has traditionally, and for the past few years, been supported majorly by the Cherokee Nation. And we would like to ask for continued funding for the Cherokee Nation or the Cherokee Heritage Center. And our goal is to improve our facilities over the coming years. I know that the money is really tight right now, but we would like to show the council that we do raise over $400,000. We have raised over $400,000 by the Board of Trustees last year. And we would like for the council to consider our funding for fiscal year 2014. Go ahead, Jack.
But this is for the rest of this fiscal year.
Yes.
Wasn't there a list of?
Well, we have a list of items which are, which is for the 2013 budget, which is included in that packet. And we have some issues coming up. We have a lot of events planned, some of which have already been approved, but we have yet to receive the funding. I believe there's about $250,000 left to be funded to complete the Ancient Village, which is opening on June 3rd. We have the 50th anniversary coming up, which we also would like to have funding for. So there are a number of items we would like for the council to consider to get us through this coming year. And Jack, since Jack has been on the board for quite some time and is the treasurer, Jack, do you have any other comments to make to that?
No, other than I thought you was going to come forward with a map and bring to those items.
Well,
so I would ask for a friendly amendment to add $150,000 to the Cherokee Heritage Center budget for 2013.
Friendly amendment. Madam Speaker, the friendly amendment from Councilor Baker.
For $150,000 for the Cherokee Heritage Center for the rest of this year.
I can accept it on my motion.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Baker still has the floor.
Did I make a motion that we give the Cherokee Heritage Center an additional $150,000 to be added to this budget line?
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have? You have a summary in front of us. Does this reflect any structural changes over at the Heritage Center?
that is no structural changes. If you're talking about physical structural changes, we are considering some changes to the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, and governance. Yeah. Okay.
But thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Campbell-Watts.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, while you're still here though, what is the unmet need, total need? I heard 250,000 has not been met on commitments that you thought had been promised for a June completion on the Ancient Village was announced.
Yes.
So, and then I heard additionally in 2013, so what is the unmet need today total?
Well, we have several items that we have not addressed, such as the 50th anniversary. We have other events coming up, the Cherokee National Holiday that we traditionally host. And I would say, $100,000 to $150,000 would probably be sufficient to cover those items.
In addition to the 250,000?
Yes. The $250,000 is to complete the village, and that was the original amount that was allocated to us. We've already spent over $200,000 of money that we've raised ourselves, and the money that was committed, we need to finish by the June 3rd opening day.
So maybe $350,000 or $400,000 total? Okay.
Including the 250.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion on Councilor Baker's motion to add for the Heritage Center? Councilor Fishing Hawk.
I don't know what they did to improve their position. Like, the newspaper come up and showed us how it was cut and showed how it was going to generate profit. What have you all done towards that? Can one of y'all speak towards that?
We've got this sheet right here, if you want to follow along with me. As opposed to a business plan, what we decided to do, by the way, I'm Susan Chapman and I'm the vice president because I was right behind Mike pushing him into the presidency. So, and he's been very gracious and very good to work with. As opposed to submitting a business plan, because we are a not-for-profit, and nonprofits right now in general have a difficult time raising money, and tribal nonprofits in particular have a double hurdle to get over, because what you get from many of the larger foundations that you would get grants from are, well, don't you have all that casino money? And so we have some educating to do with regard to the larger foundations that we could seek grants from. So what we've done is try to get our arms around everything that's going on at the Heritage Center and every dime that's being spent so that we can communicate that to you all in a very efficient and effective manner. And then after I think we do some of that, then we can talk about the business plan, just the pure and simple business plan. But most of that's contained. Did you hand those out?
Yes, they're in.
Okay, most of that's contained in what you have in front of you. But I'll just skim through some of it. We had 125,248 total contacts last year, representing visitors from 50 states and 62 countries. Our art shows, total entrants in the Trail of Tears art show was 145 entrants with 87 artists represented.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I know what you do, and I can read this and recap it later. What I want to know is what you all did to lower your cost and increase your revenue.
We let employees go.
And
You let
that
our
wasn't,
employees go.
that really wasn't a good option for us, but it was our only choice by the Board of Trustees at that time. What we'd like to focus on, and again, being a nonprofit organization, we operate a little differently than for-profit organizations, in that we can increase sales. Now, what we can do, though, is make the Heritage Center more attractive for more guests, to bring in more people. The Board of Trustees can focus more on raising funds from foundations and private donations. As you can see from your from the sheet there, we raised over $400,000 last year, which is not insubstantial, but we can do more, I believe. And one thing about when you're raising money for a nonprofit, it really helps if you have the backing of a major sponsor such as the Cherokee Nation. And that would really help for foundations, other donors to know that we have that stability to be able to go on and use those funds that they're contributing either to fund the endowment so that the Cherokee Nation or the Cherokee Heritage Center can operate in the future and actually require less money from the Cherokee Nation for our support. Right now, our endowment is nowhere nearly
You've had us
enough.
for years.
Pardon me?
You've had us for years supporting that major.
Yes, I know. Keep in mind that what we're trying to do as the trustees and Susan and I and the other people that have come in, relatively newly to the organization, are realize this, and we're trying to focus on the idea of raising more money, or the Board of Trustees raising more money for the Cherokee Heritage Center.
How many people on that board now?
I believe there are 16 presently on the board.
Is that all the slots you have?
Well, actually there is space for unlimited trustees.
I think up to 30. The bylaws are up to 30. One thing, Councilor Fishinghawk, would be there are, and we are looking at these areas where we may have inefficiencies, and when I say inefficiencies, I don't necessarily mean monetary inefficiencies, but where we duplicate.
If it's an inefficiency, it's going to be monetary eventually, trust me.
But yes, I agree. But where we duplicate services, where cultural tourism and the education department may have some duplication, that's actually where we probably have our cost savings. And so, but that takes a while to put into effect. I think we had about 3 weeks' notice to effectuate our budget reduction, which is not much. And we did have some controversy with the way that happened inside our organization. So, what's the best way to put it? We realize that, and we're committed to making sure, as long as we have lead time, that we work through all of those inefficiencies, and that we communicate those to you all so that you know far in advance whenever we need something or whenever we have something planned that's significant.
I'll tell you another problem I got. When I asked you how you looked at this and what did you do to improve your position, you said, well, we got rid of employees. You got rid of some employees, and when you got rid of 5 of them, we turned around and picked them up. So now I'm picking up 5 employees with their fringe and their cost, and you're wanting me to turn around and give you some more money back. I
Well,
feel
we
like
have
you're
had
asking for double
a,
money.
we have had a leadership change, and I think that's significant. Just on a personal note, I abstained with regard to the situation on those employees. So, and I think the leadership change will eliminate some of those problems that we've had in the past.
Why did you abstain?
Pardon?
Why did you abstain?
I abstained.
Why?
Why? Because I thought it was wrong.
Why didn't you vote no?
It's the same thing as voting no to me.
Yeah, any kind of staff reduction is not something that we want to do. And I think that on the Board of Trustees, that wasn't voted on by the board in general. You know, what we would like to try to do is to employ more people, not less. We have, because we're a nonprofit, we rely heavily on donations, which are, you know, that can be very inconsistent. So we can't project that, yes, we're going to raise $1 million next year, because we don't know what the economy is going to be like. We don't know what the environment for raising those kinds of funds is going to be. So we need a stable source of revenue so that we can focus on raising more funds and commit, hopefully, those to the endowment so that the endowment will generate more money, which is a reliable source of income. And this, we're talking about, you know, longer term view here. It's not just for the coming year. It's
How much did you save when you cut the 5 employees?
Well, you know, I don't really know exactly how much that was. We can look at the financials and see how much that was.
Somebody needs to tell me.
The key-
Probably it'd be around $60,000 annually. I don't know.
Yes. For each employee,
No.
altogether. 5 employees, you paid $60,000.
Well, I'm not certain of the exact amount, but I think part of them were part-time, so I'll be happy to get that exact figure to you.
And Councilman, those were in-kind contributions by the Cherokee Nation. So actually, it didn't really, it wasn't a cash savings for us. It just came out of our budget.
There's not much cash savings for us.
So you cut them, but they really didn't save no cash in time.
There's not much way we can save cash because all we're paying for right now are fixed costs, like our utility costs. We can't change those. So that's part of the reason that the cut had to be employees, because there's nowhere else to cut, because we can't cut our light costs.
Can you show me, since budget hearings in September, when I'm looking, can you show me the increases of at least visitors, the increases of donations, the increase of future contracts, future visitors, anything that you've done since September that shows that it's going up, that you're improving your position?
Well, I think most of that information would be contained in the report.
Can you tell me where it is on this sheet then, where your position has improved?
Well, the new village resulted in 15 new buildings.
And keep in mind too, that it's a seasonal type of operation. When we go into the winter, everything falls off. We have fewer attendees. And the spring and summer are really the season for the Heritage Center. So if we were to show you the past 6 months, you would see actually a decline in the numbers because it's the off-season.
Council Fishing,
Yeah.
I appreciate
name
the
filed.
discussion, and if you yield to me, I appreciate that. Councilman Baker, it sounds like there's a lot of discussion we need to have on this. As you know, we're not spending every nickel of the available carryover dollars. We're going to have opportunities in the coming months to talk about this. You certainly don't have to, but would you consider bringing this up next month so we have more time to digest what's been presented to us and we can have more discussion? Would you consider that, sir? All right.
Yes, I will.
And we will put it in Council Fishing Hog. You'd certainly put it back on the agenda for. Thank you. All right, I appreciate it. It's been withdrawn. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you being here. We want to have more discussion on it. We need to do it next month to continue the discussion. Thank you both. All right. All right. We are back on the main motion, just to refresh everybody's memories. Councilor Conwatts.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to create a $200,000 fund to restore free Cherokee Phoenix subscriptions to citizens who could apply with new addresses.
Second.
Motion and second. We'll go into discussion. Any discussion?
Because there's still money left, right?
Okay, Madam Speaker.
We currently are working with the newspaper on a business plan that they have created that has been very successful. They're going to meet their goals for this year. They needed that slight amount, which is already in the budget mod of, I believe it amounts to $64,381. That's what they're asking for. If you all will remember, previously we created a fund for those elders that could not pay their subscription, and if they requested, then their pay for their newspaper for a year would come from that fund. Folks, they've done everything we've asked them to do. They have not come before us and requested that we just continue to send the paper out all over the country, not knowing whether we have good, bad, or indifferent addresses. $10 is all we're asking people to pay for that newspaper. And if they don't want to pay that, they can go to the public library, read it on the computer. If they have their own computer, they can read it on their computer. If they have an iPad, if they have a telephone that receives internet service, they can read it on any of those instruments. And I'm opposed to adding this $200,000 for no reason other than, I believe, political purposes. And I'll just call the spade what I think it is. I think that's what this whole thing is about, is political purposes. And I oppose this.
Madam Speaker, to boil it down, this proposed budget gives the Phoenix every penny that it asked for.
Every bit, it gives them more. We took away $250. They just needed $64,381 back to meet their complete goal.
And
To
Mr.
be
Powell,
to taking care of themselves. And now we're wanting to give them another $200,000, which actually will increase their budget from the previous year by $14,381.
I just want the record in the minutes clear that the proposed budget, without the $200,000, gives the Phoenix everything that it's asked for in this carryover budget. Yes.
And they're not asking for that.
Any further discussion on Councilor Conwatts' motion? Councilor Conwatts.
Thank you. I'm so glad I get to talk about my motion. So
Certainly.
what my motion said was it is for Cherokee citizens to get subscriptions, and they would have to reapply with the current address. So it resolves all the bad address issues. No, they didn't ask for it. Our Cherokee citizens are asking for it. They're upset about the lack of transparency and the idea that the free press is being impacted the way it has. So if we want to talk about politics, it's about the darkening and the opaqueness in the Cherokee Nation and a lack of transparency because the Cherokee Phoenix is no longer going out. People beyond elders need access to it, and they're on fixed incomes where they've been impacted by the economy as well. So no, the Cherokee Phoenix didn't ask for it. The Cherokee people have asked to restore the free Cherokee citizen subscriptions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Madam Speaker.
Well, just to be brief, the lack of transparency would be if we had no newspaper. We have a newspaper. We have a newspaper that goes out on the web every month. You say every month, lack of transparency. Everything is a lack of transparency. We are more transparent now than we've ever been in our lives at this tribe. If not, they wouldn't have a stack this big of your GRAs and FOIA requests over there that's costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars to take employees off their job to meet her expectations of what she wants from a stack of requests this big. And she has been here 9 years. No, going on 10 years. Been 10 years on this council. If she doesn't know how this tribe operates now, I doubt that she's going to learn it in the next 2 years. So I'm still against this.
Any further discussion on Councilor Calhoun Watts' motion? Councilor England?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I have to agree with my colleagues. We're hearing this every month in every community meeting we go to, and we attend a lot of events. They just want the paper restored. If ever Cherokee is getting it, why is there only 3,000 subscriptions when there's 300,000 Cherokees? Now, just take for granted, only maybe 100,000 would be, maybe 150 would be half, half of the subscriptions. So we're not reaching every household. 3,000 subscriptions, he just said it today. There's a lot of Cherokees that are not getting the paper because they're not willing to pay. They want our gaming dollars to go toward this free paper. And that's what we're hearing all the time. And I will always support the free papers. And it's a whole lot cheaper than a lawyer.
Thank you, Councilor. I have a comment. Councilor Burke.
I have constituents out in the most rural areas. Sometimes they even barely speak English. I haven't heard anybody, and I've traveled quite a bit, folks. No one's asked me about a paper.
Thank you, Councilor. Well put. One of the foremost authorities of free press in Indian country is Mr. Pollard. Mr. Pollard has embraced this business plan. He embraced this business plan because it enhances free press. A free press that is enjoying more fiscal freedom from the nation that it should scrutinize than ever before. And yet we want to turn the clock back on that. Well, I'm not for that. To the extent that there are Cherokees, the most vulnerable among us, that can't afford the paper, we have already set up a fund to do that. So that issue's been resolved. But let's not turn back the clock on giving fiscal freedom to this great newspaper that should scrutinize this government and not get every penny it needs from this government. Mr. Pollard embraced that. His board embraced that. Let's move forward. Let's not move backwards. I oppose this motion. Councilor Fulbright.
Yes, I oppose this motion for several different reasons. One of them, I'm out in my community all the time. I have close contact with lots and lots of people. Not a single one has asked me about this paper. And our constituents frequently reference Smith Clinic quite often. There are stacks and stacks of paper there if they want to pick up one. And they go to the casinos. They pick up the paper there. I haven't had anybody call or ask me about their subscription to the paper. And if we've got $200,000 extra just because there's extra money there, doesn't mean we need to spend it in that direction. As according to me, I would give it to Diane Kelly down there, to Darrell Legg, to educate more people for vocational school, because not everybody is college material for a 4-year degree. And I just think it's an unwise decision to spend $201,000. I'm not for it.
Thank you, Councilor. Let's proceed to a vote on Councilor Conwatts' motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Take a roll call.
Meredith Rayleigh? Yes. Janelle Fulbright?
No.
Don Garvin?
Yes.
Frankie Hargis?
No.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.?
No.
Anna Glory Jordan?
No.
Lee Keener?
Yes.
Dick Lay?
No.
Curtis Snell?
No.
David Thornton?
No.
David Walton-Stick? Kara Cowan Watts?
Yes.
Buell Anklin?
Yes.
Jack Baker?
Yes.
Joe Berg?
No.
Julia Coates?
Yes.
Jody Fishing Hawk?
No.
Seven yes and 10 no.
The motion fails. Back to the main motion. Any further discussion on the main motion? Madam Speaker, I did have a question. Was there an additional line item that you neglected to put on or were unaware of?
Back when we were talking about Mr. Baker's motion, I had misspoke and asked to have a little opportunity to correct there that one the vocational account under Diane Kelly should have been 250 instead of 200.
50. So you're revising that.
And we got the 300,000 Indian child.
Who's our
I'll just go back through just to refresh everybody's memory. 150,000 was to realty,
Okay.
7,500 to charitable contributions designated for the Pocahontas Club and their scholarship programs. 67,000 to fund the travel carryover pursuant to our rules. As you all recall, the travel goes back into the community assistance. And 20,000 to meet the tri-council needs. We are the sponsor for that meeting this year. The 250,000 for Daryl Legg and Diane Kelly's group.
I just had a question, is that 250,000 total? Since
Yes.
there's already 94,396 in
Yes,
it?
that
Okay.
was.
So it'd be
so we
raising
could
it 100.
Well, now wait a minute.
Add 250 on
It
top
was
of
adding
that.
two.
Okay,
To
add
finish out the
250,000.
year. And then the 300,000 Indian child welfare. They're not supposed to do that right now. And that would be the amendment to the original mod. And the rest of the money, and there is a substantial amount left, would just be put to the side to be reserved for council to approve at a later date. And I think that's where you were going to have them come back in next month. Okay.
All right, so all minds clear on the motion to approve the budget as modified. Second. Kelly, you concur that that's accurate? All right, so we're back on the main motion. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. Anything further?
No.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. This is an act, we need a roll call anyway.
Dick Blake. Curtis Snell.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
David Wilkinson. Carrie Callen Watts.
No.
Bill England.
No.
Jack Baker.
Yes.
Joe Byrd.
Yes.
Julia Coates. No. Jody Fishinghawk.
Yes.
Meredith Fraley.
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright.
Yes.
Don Garvin.
Yes.
Frankie Hargis.
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Yes.
Hannah Glory Jordan.
Yes.
Lee Keener.
No.
Thirteen yes and 4 no.
We're now at new business item number 2, Councilor Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe that they passed out this information, but I did not receive it until today. And I haven't had an opportunity to really work with them to make sure that we can come towards consensus and have full information. I'd ask that we table it for 1 more month.
Motion is second by Councilor Byrd. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Very good. We had tabled an item to the end of the discussion. And Councilor Fishinghawk, that was item number 3, status report on clinic expansion and land acquisition. Were you moving this to next month, or are you?
I think that all went together, so I just moved to withdraw.
Good withdraw, very good withdraw. In terms of announcements, we had a key that was under a chair out there on the floor. I don't remember. I think Gail had it out on her desk. If anybody's missing a key, it was a single key, looked like a Toyota. I think it's on Gail's desk. Regular council for April, pursuant to the poll that Kelly took, will be moved from April 15th, April 22nd. All right, with those announcements, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
Aye.